Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who collection update. In today's Doctor Who collection update, I'll be showing you all the lovely bits of Doctor Who merchandise I've picked up from where my last collection update ended in September to December. So I hope you all had a lovely Christmas and got some lovely Doctor Who merch under the Christmas tree. But I thought I'd do a little quick shout out before we dive into the collection update, and that is of course me and Luke and Stephen Noonan have done another Talking All Things, but this time we've not gone to the 1970s like we normally do. That's our little comfort area. We've done the Dalek Invasion of Earth, which if you missed the live stream, don't worry, we've got you covered. You can check it out in the link down below. It's a lot of fun. There's a First Doctor quiz, which, yeah, it's one of Stephen's classic quizzes, which are tricky and yeah, a lot of fun to do. So play along and listen to us talk about Dalek Invasion of Earth and of course the usual tangents. So again, check it out because it's a lot of fun. We've done the Time Warrior as well in December, celebrating 50 years of the Time Warrior. But yeah, and of course just check out all the other Stephen Noonan Talking All Things because they're very insightful and fascinating, and we have a lot of fun doing them, and we hope that you have a lot of fun watching them. And there's plenty more coming in the near future. There are ideas out there. But yeah, let's dive into the collection update. Kicking off this collection update with some magazines. Now, of course, being the 6th anniversary, there's going to be quite a bit of coverage for Doctor Who. So we have the 6th anniversary Doctor Who magazine there. And of course, we have the latest Doctor Who magazine, which of course is a bit of history as it's Ncuti Gatwa is the Doctor. So there's that one there. And continuing the Ncuti hype, I did pick up the big issue. There with a really nice snazzy photo of Ncuti Gatwa there. And it's got a really cool interview with Ncuti Gatwa, which is very nice. And like I was saying about coverage for Doctor Who, I feel like it's sort of an essential thing when it's a sort of Doctor Who anniversary to pick up a Radio Times there. So this is the 6th anniversary Radio Times there, which is very cool. I've got the 10th anniversary one, so it felt quite nice to sort of get the first one and sort of the latest one there, which is very cool, and a nice little interview with Tom Baker and some other Doctor Who people. And of course we have the festive Radio Times there with Ncuti Gatwa on the cover. So that is the magazines. Moving on, we have some Doctor Who books, and this year we've seen sort of a revival of the Doctor Who book line, which is great to see. And we have this collection of 10 short stories, which is the 10 Days of Christmas, which is a nice sort of very apt book for this time of year with 10 stories with the 10th Doctor. Interestingly, if you've got the Doctor Who annual this year, it has 2 other stories that feature within that. So is it a 14th Doctor story or 10th Doctor story, where we have the 10th Doctor versus the Sycorax with his new sidekick, which I won't spoil if you don't know. Next up we have 2 books from the Decades collection, which is the first one I got was the 1960s one, Imaginary Friends, which is a First Doctor Christmas book. I've not read this yet. I really should get around to reading this. Probably the next book I'll read. But I love how these are presented with this lovely sort of canvas and foil finish. They just look quite sort of premium and quite sort of very fancy and classy. And I would like to get the rest of these books. The next one I've got, the last one I've got in the collection so far, which is the Self-Made Man, which is the 1980s one, which is a 4th Doctor and Romana one. And I think it's got the Cybermen in, which interests me a lot, so that's why I picked that up. And then we have a Doctor Who comic, which is Once Upon a Time Lord. Again, 10th Doctor, this is the year of David Tennant, and rightly so, because he was fabulous. But yeah, this is quite a short comic inspired by 1001 Nights. I may do a review on this comic, but yeah, it's a fun little comic, sort of looking at sort of the first bit of the David Tennant years, really. So there we go. The last book I'm going to show is this, which is The Art of Audio Adventures, which features 100 Big Finish covers, and it is a really lovely sort of coffee table book, and it's got some of the writers and cast members' favourite covers, like Paul McGann. It's quite interesting knowing what his favourite Big Finish cover is. But yeah, you get to really appreciate the artwork, like some of the little details, what you probably haven't seen before, like this bit of detailing on the cover. And yeah, it's a book you can just sort of stare at and enjoy all the lovely artwork within it, which is lovely. But yeah, it's got my favourite cover in here of all time, which is great, which is the Annihilators. It's just a glorious cover and I adore it. So yeah, it's got right up until Anywhere and Anywhere. So yeah, I highly recommend picking up this book because it's just a great little insight and to have a look at how the sort of covers are made and a little behind the scenes info on sort of the unsung heroes of Big Finish. Moving on to the next section now. I don't really know what to call this section other than sort of miscellaneous, as I forgot to include this in my last collection update. I did an unboxing video on it, and that is of course this, a replica of the 3rd Doctor Sonic Screwdriver by Little Shop Props, and yeah, it's great to have a little replica of my Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver in the collection. So yeah, really happy to have that, and obviously I've got the rubber toe replica 11th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, so it's great to have my 2 favourite Sonic Screwdrivers in sort of proper prop replica form, really. So yeah, really like that. So the next item, I don't think I've shown off at all actually. I might have shown it off on Twitter, or I should say formerly known as Twitter but now known as X. We have the Pterodactyl Android by Robert Harrop. Yeah, really nice figurine of the Pterodactyl. The Pterodactyl Visitation is my favourite 5th Doctor story. I think it's great, and it's great to have that representation on the shelf of a character that we don't have in any other form, I don't think. I don't think the figurine collection did it at all. Character options certainly haven't done it, so it's great to finally have representation of that. I will be doing a review of the Pterodactyl Android and the Pterodactyl Leader in a sort of joint review, so get sort of the Visitation Robert Harrop collection. But yeah, very stunning detail, great paintwork, and my limited edition number there being 160 out of 225. So yeah, glorious little figurine of the Disco Android from the Visitation. So yeah, we just need the Grim Reaper version now, and sort of the android's got his sort of distinctive looks in the story. From a figurine to figures, yes, character options have blessed us with more plastic goodies. While searching for the latest wave of B&M figures, and I didn't want to go home empty-handed, I did find this, which is the 6th Doctor and TARDIS from The Ultimate Adventure. Yeah, it was on sale for £20, and I think for £20 it was an absolute steal. And I'm not a person who likes to double dip and buy figures again, but I think when it's something a bit special and a bit unique and a bit of an oddity, which this certainly is, I kind of had to get it, and it just looks really nice. It just looks so good in the box. And to celebrate 15 years of the Colin Baker figure and to have it based off the stage play, it's a very sort of unique set. So yeah, this is going to stay in the box because it looks very pretty, and like I say, it's a very unique thing, and yeah, very nice. And of course, whilst searching for, again, the latest wave of B&M sets, I did come across this because, again, it's a bit unique and a bit different. I picked up another 5 Doctor set. It was 13 quid, and I think for 13 quid you can't really go wrong in having sort of a not first Doctor in the form of Richard Herndl and the Death Zone Dalek. It was worth it. And continuing sort of that sort of trend of sort of searching for B&M figures, I did buy another History of the Dalek set 16/17 because my Dalek set, which you'll see in a minute, which has a little default on the eye stalk, you can see there, it's got a weird sort of error with the sort of moulding. So I picked up another one of these to get sort of a definitive Dalek set, and you know, another Metaltron Dalek, because they look great, and you can never have too many Daleks, and plus it does look very good in the box. So yeah, I double dipped and picked those up. So let's take a look at the figures that aren't stuck in their plastic prisons. Figures that are free from their plastic packaging is Professor Hu Yang, which is probably the best David Tennant action figure on the market, based from the Clone Wars / Ahsoka, but yeah, voiced by David Tennant, so it's technically sort of Doctor Who. But yeah, we're not here to talk about Professor Hu Yang. We're here to talk about the winter wave of B&M figure sets containing the Deadly Assassin set, the History of the Daleks set 16 and 17, and the Remembrance of the Daleks set, which is an interesting wave. I've done a review on all of these sets and all of the figures that have been released this year. I will be doing a video covering the Doctor Who figure line in 2023, talking about my favourites and my least favourites, and possibly what I think the future holds for the figure line as well. So yeah, those are the figures. Great sort of set, great sort of selection. I will say I think I prefer this selection to last year's. I think we've seen a smaller quantity, but I think the quality's been a lot better, because I think last year we had, the 10th Doctor set, sort of the 9th Doctor set and the 13th Doctor set, which kind of have stuck around and kept the pegs warm. Whereas I think that this is a bit more of a wider selection, more Daleks, which is great. And it has a few more new characters like Chancellor Goff, and adding a Richard Herndl first Doctor to the shelves is always a good thing. So that's been the figure selection there. Blu-ray time. On this channel we are a big fan of physical media, and it's important to build an archive and library of things you love, and especially with the age of streaming where things can be taken off and never be seen again, it's important to buy the things you love. And the first one is technically not a Doctor Who related, but it has a Doctor Who connection. It is Wurzel Gummidge Down Under, the restored edition, series 1 and 2. Last year we saw the sort of Wurzel Gummidge TV show get restored, and this is the Down Under saga. So this completes the sort of John Pertwee Wurzel Gummidge Blu-ray collection. This is very much of the Doctor Who collection, but with the sort of Wurzel Gummidge being sort of their centre point, because this has got unseen archive footage, like the animation test of what Wurzel could have become in the future. So it's great to finally have that and sort of have a updated, restored Wurzel Gummidge sort of collection. And one thing again, I'm just going to show it off because it's technically sci-fi, and it does have a little Doctor Who reference, but the smallest Doctor Who reference, because it features a Death to the Daleks gun in it, and it's the Mandalorian season 1 sort of 4K Blu-ray. Yeah, very important. Great to see Disney finally releasing some of their stuff in physical media. Moving on to Doctor Who now, it's been a great time for Doctor Who physical media, because we've had the remaster of series 1 to 4 and the specials. I've been watching this over the past sort of month now, and yeah, I think there is a notable difference. I don't think it's sort of glaringly obvious. I think there's been some sort of tweaks there. There's a great sort of comparison on YouTube where you can see the differences, but I think as a purchase, if it depends how much of a suckler you are for sort of these things for the collection. I don't think there's much difference really. It's nice to have a new sort of feature with David Tennant and Russell T Davies, but yeah, it's a nice little pickup, and to have the correct sort of speed for these episodes is great, and the little tweaking they've done is much appreciated. But yeah, it's a nice overall, and this is sort of my journey of becoming a fan. This is my sort of era, what got me into the show, so it holds a special place in my heart, and yeah, I adore it. It's great to sort of have their sort of special treatment. Hopefully the collection series will do the new series and give it all the love that it deserves, because I can't wait for the new series to hopefully get the collection treatment, because that's be great to see. On to steelbooks now. We had another Doctor Who animation, and it's looking like Doctor Who's physical media presence is going to be great in 2024, because we've got the Daleks in colour, Celestial Toymaker, Ncuti Gatwa's first series, I presume Church on Ruby Road, and I guess some more other treats as well, which I guess we don't know just yet, but I'm sure we'll get another 2 collection sets as well. But we have the latest animation, which is the Underwater Menace. I'm going to confess, I've not watched this yet, and I feel a bit like a fake fan, but I've not watched it. I've just not had time to. Hopefully now I've got a few days off, I can sit down and watch it. But yeah, I think that this is a story that will definitely benefit the animation treatment. The last Blu-ray I'm going to show off is something what I adore, and has been one of the highlights for being a Doctor Who fan this year, which is the 60th anniversary specials. This is the steelbook. I did an unboxing on it, so if you want to have a closer look at how it's presented, check out that unboxing video. But yeah, I adore these specials, and rewatching them, I've just fallen more and more in love with these. And to have Tennant and Tate back, it was just glorious, and I just wanted more. I wanted more from them. But yeah, it's a glorious selection, and it may not be the anniversary we were expecting, but I think that all 3 stories are technically multi-Doctor in their own way. But I think with this, it's more of a celebration of what the show can do. That it can do any genre, and that's what makes Doctor Who brilliant, really. It's sort of showing that the show, it's limitless, it can do anything, and that's why it's endured for 60 years, and long may it continue. Moving on to Big Finish. So the first Big Finish I'm going to show is the War Master Rogue Encounter, where we have sort of full standalone stories with the War Master. Yeah, I've only listened to the first story of this, the Tim Foley one, which is sort of done in sort of real time, which is good. But of course, there's a load of other Big Finish releases coming out, so I've sort of put this one on the back burner. But I'm very excited to listen to the War Master versus Billis. But yeah, there should be a review of that coming out once I finish listening to it. Me and Luke will do a review on it. Speaking of something, what we have reviewed is Intelligence for War, a 7-part season 7 story, which is a great character story for Liz Shaw. Again, done a full review on this, and it's probably one of my favourites of the year. I always love when Big Finish sort of do season 7 stories, like the Annihilators and the Unzal Incursion and the Bluetooth. Great stuff, and this is no exception. This is another classic in the third Doctor adventure range, because of course it's getting to that time now where we sort of look at Big Finish and go, what are my 10 favourite releases of the year? So I'll be doing that video very soon. Once I've listened to The Last Day, I will do that top 10 Big Finish. Talking of more Big Finish, we have 2 arrivals from the sort of 60th anniversary celebrations, which is the Wanton Future Saga. We have the next 2 instalments, which is Two's Company. My limited edition number there is 916 out of 3,000. A great story, actually, considering this was sort of a bit of a meme story. It became one of my favourites in the sort of saga. But yeah, great fun. Of course, done a review on all the Wanton Future stories, so you can check out those reviews if you know our thoughts on Wanton Future. And probably my favourite from the Wanton Future saga, which is the Martian invasion of Planetoid 50. A great story, and probably my favourite of the saga because it pushes the arc forward, adds a bit more mystery towards it, and it's just a real treat having the Paternoster gang there and having sort of David Tennant's Doctor versus Misc. It's a lot of fun and is a great treat. The next 2 Big Finish is probably one of the strongest outputs for the Doctor, one of the Doctors this year, actually. I think the 8th Doctor has had the best year at Big Finish, and that is these 2 box sets, which is Audacity and In the Bleak Midwinter. Done reviews on both of these box sets, so you can check out my thoughts on these stories. But Audacity, a great opening story. I love the concept and idea of sort of stargazing and, you know, sort of wishing on a star and being careful what you wish for. And then we have the great cyber war with the return of the Revenge Cybermen, which a great story by Tim Foley. One of my favourite stories of the year, actually. It's a really great set, very strong sort of opening. And then we have In the Bleak Midwinter, which is, you know, 3 festive stories. Again, done a review on it. The Empty Man's probably my favourite of the set, and it's just great to have the 8th Doctor and Charlie and Audacity become this new iconic trio. It's a lovely set. That's what they all look like together. If you have these in your collection, it might a bit annoy you, but you know, connections and what lies inside is 1 and 2, and this is 3 and 4. So the numbering system, yeah, it's a bit all over the place, but yeah, great to have these. And you know, I think McGann again had all the sort of bestsellers of the year. So yeah, I think that's a real testament to the quality of stories he had, and I would say probably the Doctor did the best in 2023. I'd say all that and the 11th Doctor, actually. But speaking of other Big Finish that haven't arrived in the post, speaking of 11th Doctor, we had the digital download, which is Broken Hearts. I've not listened to this one yet, but yeah, this is sort of a little bonus story that was done. And yeah, if you haven't checked out the 11th Doctor stuff, please do, because it's some of the finest sort of storytelling Big Finish have done in recent years. It's a great ongoing series, and the latest box set being Everywhere and Anywhere, where we have a Christmas special, which is Spirit of the Season, and then we have All's Fair, which just rips the heart out of you. It's a story that sort of breaks your heart and causes broken hearts, really. But yeah, a quick little side note about Spirit of the Season. It's very much a Christmas Carol meets a God complex. Feels very fitting of the year and is a nice little festive treat. And then we have Sins of the Flesh, which is the 11th Doctor Cyberman story. I've not finished this one yet. I'm halfway through it, and I have to say, just on that first half, it's probably the best sort of new series Cyberman story for Matt Smith. That's probably not saying much, but yeah, I think that it's up there. It's got a really dark concept, and it doesn't shy away from the issue of what it's trying to tell. And I think that's one thing what I adore about that range, is it's just so out there with what it's doing and its messages. It's brilliant. And then we have a audio novel, which is the sort of Big Finish 60th anniversary audio novel, which is Box of Terrors, which is just under 9 hours long. I am on part 4 at the minute, and I am loving it. I think that it's full of surprises, and yeah, John Coleshaw is a fantastic narrator, bringing all the characters to life. And yeah, it's an epic. It's an epic. I've not finished it yet. I've still got, just I think 5 hours left, so I've barely made a dent in it. But I'm loving every second of it. It's got some nice little twists and turns, and hopefully there will be a review on it, because it's an epic and it deserves a bit of love and coverage there. So that is the Big Finish section. There we have it. That has been my December collection update for 2023. Quite a nice one to end the year on, with a nice selection of merchandise from figures, books, Blu-rays, Big Finish. Yeah, quite a nice way to end the collection update saga for 2023. So if you enjoyed this video, then please do like and subscribe for plenty more Doctor Who content coming up in the near future, such as my top 10 Big Finish for 2023, a look back at the Doctor Who figures of 2023, a Big Finish collection video, DVD collection video as well, yeah, and plenty more reviews as well. So yeah, plenty more Doctor Who content coming up in the near future. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.